Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining me. I am John Wright, a director of the Lawbiz Consulting Group with offices in the UK and Mexico City. I am based in the UK. Lawbiz offers a range of services for businesses entering the UK and Mexican markets. So, are you considering expanding your business overseas? Well, I hope the next 20 minutes or so will give you some useful pointers. Let's go. It's a new world. Export trade has trebled since the year 2000. The world of business has also changed fundamentally, bringing huge opportunities for small businesses to get into overseas markets cheaper and faster. Jeff Bezos acknowledged this point when he created Amazon. The means of delivery of his offer had been designed and implemented by the previous generation. They have put the internet and global transport and supply systems in place, ready for Amazon to exploit their offer. And the same is true for you. It has never been easier or cheaper to find niche markets anywhere. Can I first dispense with one misconception that we have often come across, that being that you can dump product overseas and bank the money. Markets and information flows today are now global. Pre-internet, suppliers could manage their customers by divide and rule. If you fell out with a customer, their sphere of influence was really quite limited. Today the customer is king. They can and do broadcast their views. So entering a new market must be undertaken with the same care and attention that you would give to your home market. As a business owner, you now have global markets. You can choose where you want to go. You can craft your image and presentation to fit local markets, and you can decide who you want to be when you get there. How do you choose new markets? Well, the answer may already be obvious, but if not, here are some things that you may wish to consider. Do you already have any advantages that may speed the process? Do you have experience or knowledge of any particular market? Does anyone in your business have language skills that might be useful? Do you have contacts or trusted partners anywhere? Consider also the non-tariff barriers, by which we mean the free trade agreements, of course, but labelling and health and safety regulations. For example, in some areas, the US and Europe have different regulations to address the same problems, but different standards create a higher barrier for businesses coming into a market, thus giving an advantage to domestic suppliers. This can mean just an adjustment to labelling, or it could mean time-consuming and costly product testing as well. Are any markets culturally or otherwise aligned with yours? Expat communities can sometimes provide a soft landing when you start. Research. Being honest and realistic at the beginning will save you time and money. Objectivity does not always come easily, especially if it is your business. But you really do need to know the answers to the following. Why will the market want your product or service? Is it new? Is it different? Is it cheaper? What? If you don't know, then you need to find out. Can you sell competitively in the market? What value can your offer command in the market, and what is the cost of getting it there? Why will a distributor be interested to take your product or service? Good margin, promotional support, fits their business? The more information that you can gather here, the better position you will be to negotiate and the more credibility you will have. Market testing. Why bother? Well, because it allows you to make your mistakes cheaply. Shipping stock is hugely expensive, particularly if things are not in place, and in our certain experience, minor issues can destroy a project. We have seen something as simple as a linguistic misunderstanding sink an entire project even after the stock had been distributed in the market. It also allows you time to adjust your offer, and crucially, a distributor will only be disappointed once. So how do you market test? Well, if you have a partner or advisor in the market, they can present your product or service and give you the feedback. If you have found a distributor, they may be willing to work with you. Either way, the acid test is to put your product or service in front of a buyer and ask them to pay for it. The two key points to settle are, is there a demand for what you are offering, and can you sell for a profit? May be very, very simple, but amidst the heady excitement of new markets, profits and expansion, the basics often get lost. Some things to consider when looking for a trading partner. Most exporters will seek a distributor or partner. It saves time and money and can avoid many of the simple mistakes, and so can considerably reduce risk and workload. You may have contacts already. You may find introductions through trade bodies or government agencies. In whichever case, you have one chance to impress. So our best advice to you is to put yourself in the best negotiation position before you start, and certainly before you jump on an aeroplane. The more knowledge you have, the stronger your negotiating position and the more convincing your proposal. And early meetings are all about establishing credibility. Is your offer competitive in the market? What are the margins in the market? How many margins do you need to cover in the supply chain? In less developed markets, with less developed distribution systems, it can sometimes be more than you are used to, and market prices can be lower too. Understand why your potential partner will want to trade with you. Simply put, what's in it for them. It can be easy for a distributor to commit to a range just to keep it out of competitors' hands. But are they offering competitor products or services? What marketing support are you prepared to give? What training can you offer? When you start a trading relationship, it is a negotiation. And this is what your new partner will be looking for from you. A product or service that complements their current offer. Something that makes their business more interesting to their customers. A good margin, of course. A product or service that his or her customer wants. This may sound very obvious, but I can assure you that this point is often forgotten or ignored. They will want confidence in you as a supplier, support, a sense of partnership, and continuity of quality and supply. And this is what you will need. A partner for whom your product or service has the potential to add enough to their business to make them really work hard to sell it. A reliable payer. Market contacts that can establish your product or service quickly and easily, so giving you credibility and a good reputation in the market. The closer you get to fulfilling each other's needs, the more chance you will have of a successful long-term relationship. It's a bit like dating when you think about it. So here are a few tips that we hope may be helpful. Find a partner of similar size. The biggest player is tempting, but not always best, because it's an uneven negotiation. Your offer needs to impact their world. It needs to be important to their business, and in our experience, mismatched relationships rarely work long term. Allow your partner to make good money out of the deal. If they make a good living out of selling your product or service, they will work harder for you. And be honest at all times, particularly with regard to your deliverables, stock, support, etc. And always give more than you promise. Next, consider the whole process through from order to delivery. It's an exciting time, but the boring detail is often where the problems can lie. Are the payment terms fair? Do they give you enough cash flow to manage the business? Do you have a comfort margin in your delivery schedule? Have you properly understood and addressed any labelling and health and safety issues? You and your partner need to align systems. Once systems are aligned, then subsequent orders can flow easily. Tiny problems can rapidly grow into big ones, causing delayed orders and/or payments, and of course frustration. Here are a few simple silly things that we have witnessed. Documentation inside the delivery carton, so not visible on the outside. Lost delivery. Wrong size pallet which doesn't match the distributor's storage system. Refused order. Invoices with insufficient information to pass clearance for payment. Distributor system not updated with all the required information to recognize a product. So with this last point in mind, don't be afraid to suggest a small trial order to stress test the systems. Is my new trading partner financially secure? No business is worth having unless you get paid and paid on time. At its worst, a small supplier delivering a huge order and not receiving payment can and does bankrupt small suppliers. You probably have your own anecdotes. You are giving your assets, your cash, to a third party. You need to be really sure that your assets are safe. So, credit checks should of course be part of your process. How can I protect my interests before shipping stock? Your trading relationship will be managed by an agreement. You have decided that you wish to work together, but you are still negotiating, each tweaking the last little bit of advantage and trying to give themselves the maximum room to manoeuvre. Pushing back a bit at this stage to get what is fair is not going to lose the business. Perhaps start with the heads of terms. This allows both parties to outline what is fair to be included and what is expected in the agreement, so that when a full contract is presented, there should be no big surprises. Clear and simple is a good place to start. You are likely to be familiar with letters of credit, protection for your assets. Another asset that should be protected is your intellectual property. If anything happens to your relationship with your new partner, you will still own your brands and trademarks if you take the care to protect them up front. Trademark registration is essential at the start of any investment in an export market. Without securing this, the danger is to develop a market and later find that someone else owns your valuable asset, or that they can stop you using it. It can be a time-consuming business, but if you already have registration in your own market, then it can often be extended, as most countries are party to the relevant international agreement. Does my brand name carry the correct connotations in the market? Is it already registered? If it is not well understood or already registered, then you can start with a new one. Many well-known brands have done exactly that for the reasons discussed here. Domain name registration. The next step is to secure your online presence by purchasing the local domain suffix for the market that you are entering. You may choose to secure anything close to your area of interest as well as the site that you want to use. How to get started? Our view is always small, inexpensive steps. Invest more as your confidence in the viability of your product or service as a profitable exercise in your target market grows. Undertake your due diligence and make objective decisions at each stage. So to reiterate, you need to find the answers to the following questions. Is there a market for my product or service in my chosen export market? You love your product or service, so objectivity may be difficult. So undertake the research phase carefully and completely. And if you find it difficult to detach yourself, to analyze the results, get someone else to do it and give you a fair, unbiased summary. Can I sell my product or service in my chosen export market and make a profit? Top down from market prices, bottom up from your cost base, and hopefully a nice big gap in the middle, which is your margin. So it is foolish to spend time and money visiting a market if you have not properly completed a thorough viability assessment. This can be undertaken quite cheaply and identify any major blockages before too much has been invested, or allow you the opportunity to adjust your offer. So thank you for listening, and if you are considering the UK or Mexico, we can help, and we are very happy to offer a free initial one-to-one. I can be contacted at jwright@lawbiz.co.uk, Lawbiz, and if you are interested in more business ideas that really work, my book Powerful Business Rules, Extraordinary Results is available on Kindle and Amazon. Thank you.